Happy Monday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com going over the road to millions on this September 4th. Hope everyone is enjoying their day off of work. If you're like us, we're busy in the lab getting ready to bring in more units for everybody. We got a great show. We're going to go over some NFL fantasy and slash prop sleepers, is what we're calling it. These are guys that are hopefully off of everyone's radar. I know there's a ton of fantasy leagues. I know my big money league, we draft on Wednesday, so always looking for these sleepers. These aren't sleepers like these are real sleepers. Like you guys are probably not going to think of many of these guys. So I love doing this, and they'll also help out with props as we move forward. We're going to do Bankroll Reset Day. I have been told that I need to be more dramatic and exciting when we announce if we won or if we win or lose. So I've planned something very special for this. Steve doesn't even know about it, but I've been told I'm way too vanilla and boring when we have a good or a bad week. So I'm gonna try and add some spice to it. We're gonna do a fade of the day. We're fading an MLB team, and then we're gonna do a stat of the day. We need to. It's NFL season, so we need to start doing these fun stats to help everyone out with their betting. So give us a like while you're watching this, please. Just hit the like button and leave us a comment if you agree or disagree with these sleepers, and also give me your favorite sleeper. I love NFL sleepers in fantasy drafts. The league I play in has kind of deep rosters, so a lot of these guys have value. So I'm interested to see on that, to see this one. All right, Steve, let's just get into our sleepers here. And also, real quick, guys, Road to Millions, we have a 5% UFC play that is up 6-0. I don't want to jinx it, but 6-0. Pretty happy on this. So it's $9 Monday, and we have a 5% UFC play up. We'll go over that one. All right, first sleeper. We have talked about him. And now Cooper Kupp is seeing a specialist. Did you see this story? Cooper Kupp for the Rams has to see a hamstring pulled muscle specialist. We've been talking about Tyler Higbee, Steve. We love him even more, don't we?
Yeah, we were talking about him for his over on the season for his receiving yards. We actually have a play in for that prop, and at that time we had him as the clear cut number 2 option on the Rams, and now he's kind of thrust into the number 1 option, which I'm still fine with. He's going to have plenty of looks. That goes without saying now if Kupp isn't going to be out there. The Rams, we've seen how bad they've been defensively, and if that continues, which we also expect to continue, they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, and they're going to have to throw the ball just to keep up with their opponents. And we've basically seen the Rams allow points by the boatload throughout the preseason, and it's a pretty nice sleeper here because he's the 13th ranked tight end according to ESPN. So he's a guy that if you're in a 10 team league, he slips to he's your secondary tight end potentially. But I kind of view him as a starting tight end in fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen, it's pretty obvious what you do with tight ends this year. If you miss out on the top couple guys, you're just waiting. There's no reason to take like the number 5 or 6 ranked tight end. You might as well just wait towards the end. And this guy is one of them. He's my top fantasy sleeper. I grabbed him over the weekend in a fantasy league. He's my starting tight end right now. So if you don't get your Kelsey or your Mark Andrews or your TJ Hawkinson, Tyler Higbee, I think you could do way worse. I think he will help you out a ton, especially at the beginning of the season. So first sleeper is Tyler Higbee. Up next, we're going to go to the Seattle backfield. Zach Charbonnet, if you don't know who this guy is the backup. And not only do I think he's going to get, first off, he's going to get work regardless. It's not going to be a ton because it's basically Kenneth Walker and him. And I mean, Steve, if something happens to Kenneth Walker, he's the guy, and he's going so late in drafts and shallow leagues. He's not being drafted at all, and I think he's going to get some work to begin the season with. But if you hang on to him, this guy's got a lot of talent, and if something happens to Kenneth Walker, I think you're sitting on a guy that could be like the number 1 guy in the waiver wire pickup because they don't have any depth in the backfield. It's Walker and him. And last year, the second leading rusher for the Seahawks was Geno Smith. They have
Wow,
they
yeah.
have no depth at backfield. This guy could be a really, really big home run early in the season. You got any thoughts on the Seattle backfield?
Yeah, I'm not 100% completely sold on Kenneth Walker, and I mean I'm not the only one. The Seahawks spent a big pick on Charbonnet here, so he's also, I noticed, he's a great pass catching option. So he's a better pass catcher than Kenneth Walker, so he'll be the immediate pass catching back on this team, which gives him a little bit of added value. Also, if you're in a PPR league.
Yeah, so some of these guys that are going really late, I mean, it would suck if you like if you have the third waiver wire pick and something happens to Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet is going to go one. So this guy might be a really, really nice stash to add there. So, all right, we're going to go to Cleveland. This guy is one of my favorite sleepers this year. I'm sure nobody's drafting him. It's Jerome Ford. So last year, Steve, Kareem Hunt had 123 carries, 468 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had 35 catches for 210 yards and 1 touchdown. All that work is not going to Nick Chubb. And I've done some research, and they're high on Jerome Ford. He pulled his hamstring at the very beginning of preseason, so he hasn't had a chance to really show off what he can do. But the coaching staff has basically said we don't care about him missing preseason. He's our number two. And we saw last year Cleveland has no problem using two running backs. So I feel like Jerome Ford's going to get work regardless. I mean, Nick Chubb can't be getting 35 carries and 10 catches every game. I mean, this guy, I don't know if he's going to completely fill into the cream up, but again, if something happens to Nick Chubb, there you are. You're sitting on an absolute stud who's going to be number one on the waiver wire. I don't know. I kind of want a part of the Cleveland backfield here. This guy you can get in the last round if you want.
100%. I was going to mention the hamstring injury as well, and it looks like he's going to be all set with that. He'll be a go for week one. He's a really deep sleeper here because he's running back 58 on the list right now. Obviously, a great handcuff to Chubb, and with Hunt gone, like you had mentioned, this is a great spot where he could immediately see potentially double-digit touches in some of these early games. And if that's the case, and if Chubb were to go down, he'd be extremely valuable. Goes without saying.
Yeah, so Jerome Ford, one of our sleepers, one of my favorite sleepers this year. Up next,
Love
I've
it.
just kind of discovered this guy recently, Sam Laporta, a running back, tight end from Iowa. He's playing on the Lions, and I didn't see much of him. And then I look at props for this Thursday, and I see 34 and a half yards and 3.5 receptions. I was like, that seems like a lot for a rookie tight end. So I started looking him up, and they love him in Detroit. Absolutely love him. Looks like him and Jared Goff have a really, really good connection. And it looks like the coaching staff loves him and they expect big things. Again, if you're waiting on tight end, I think you could do worse. This is a guy that everybody is probably going to pass on, and he might be really good, especially with the depleted wide receiving core of Detroit. They're going to be throwing the ball a ton. So Sam Laporta, fantasy sleeper. I was really surprised to see 3.5 receptions as the prop. To me, that's the books telling us that this guy's going to be worth a little investment, right?
Yeah, I mean, based on the props, he's the number two option, receiving option on this team, but behind St. Brown and last season the Lions tight ends, they caught 12 touchdown passes, but only
Wow.
three of those went to Hawkinson. So they spread it around to tight ends, and so Laporta stands to benefit from that. In that, Goff obviously likes to look towards the tight end, and Laporta stands to benefit from that. He's tight end 20 on the list, so this is a real deep sleeper. And he's right in the starting lineup immediately. So this is a great spot if you get him late, is a great backup tight end.
Yeah, and you got to believe he's probably going to have some value week one against Kansas City. Kansas City not great against tight ends. Maybe hoping for a shootout in that one. So Sam Laporta, someone to keep your eye on. Next sleeper, we've heard just how great this guy looks. Tyjae Spears for the Tennessee Titans. Again, you're seeing we're kind of looking at handcuffs. Again, I think this guy might have value. I like this guy can catch the ball. It's a completely different element to Derrick Henry. I don't know if he's going to be start worthy if Derrick Henry, is out there, but Henry, is getting up there in age, a lot of wear and tear on the body. This guy has a great change of pace. He looks fantastic. They're very high on him. So Tyjae Spears, this is another guy. If something happens to Derrick Henry, bang, this guy's number one on the waiver wire. But I think he might actually have value even when Derrick Henry plays. So do we know anything more about Tyjae Spears?
I agree. He's the perfect handcuff for Henry, and we know that Henry has seen so much wear and tear over the recent years that an injury or is definitely on the horizon potentially for him. Spears, like you said, has looked good, and he could factor in right away, like you said, and be another guy that could get double-digit carries even with Henry on the field.
Yeah, Tyjae Spears really explosive, and God, if you've watched Tennessee, they could use something explosive in that offense. So, finally, Steve, this one was all you. I was like, really, Kenneth Gainwell, and then I started to think about it. Yeah, it's a committee, but my God, talk about injury issues with the guys in front of him. What do we like about Gainwell?
So he's always had great production, even in limited roles. And like you mentioned, with Penny and Swift, they have injury histories. So one or both of them could go down, and it would put him into the running back too, potentially even the first team carries. Which, speaking of first team carries, he got those during the preseason. He's the best pass catcher in the group. We don't expect, obviously, him to continue. It's going to be a committee. We don't expect him to continue to be on the first team. But looking at the Eagles, if he's thrust into that starting role or even the number 2 role, if one of these guys goes down, Eagles last year led the league in rushing touchdowns with 32. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with Jalen Hurts, but the backs did put up numbers as well. And the Eagles, again, potent offense, great offensive line. So if he's thrust into that role, he's a late sleeper that you could add. Just keep him on your bench and wait. And Penny or Swift goes down, he's going to put up some numbers.
So, if you notice a theme, we went with running backs and tight ends for today. We'll take a look at some quarterbacks and wide receivers for tomorrow. But so, guys, keep your eye on if you're drafting Tyler Higbee, Zach Charbonnet, Jerome Ford, Sam Laporta, Tyjae Spears, and Kenneth Gainwell. Some guys that are off of pretty much everybody's radar, and that's what we're looking for. Guys that nobody else is going to be looking at. Maybe we can sneak in and grab some value. We see these guys hit every freaking year in fantasy. There's always like a couple of these guys that are just like league winners, and you're like, God, if only I'd known. So we'll take a stab with some of those guys. So. All right, guys, don't forget the like button. Leave us a comment. Let us know your favorite sleeper for this year. Let us know if we're completely off base on those. Let us know what you think about sleepers. So, all right, it's we're going to do Road to Millions in our Bankroll Reset Day, and then we'll get to the fade of the day and our stat of the day, get you guys some actionable information here. But so Bankroll Reset Day, we're off of our last week. Like I said, I've been told I need to be a lot more dramatic here. So, Steve, if you could kill the light here. So Corbin is the main one. Corbin is the main one that said you need to be more exciting. So here we go, everyone. This is me attempting to be more dramatic when unveiling how good or bad we did. So here we go. The week started off strong with the U.S. Open plays, started off with profits. Unfortunately, baseball proved to be our arch enemy this week. Dana White Contender Series hit. It moved us to 4-0 in our MMA streak, so the week looked strong. And then a big Saturday. Formula One comes through. Soccer does well. UFC streak moves to 6-0. However, the gambling gods giveth with a sweep on Formula One, but they taketh away on Sunday with soccer and baseball. We cash a cross-sport parlay, which means we end up with 7.37 units. I hope that was more dramatic. All right, so that's for you, Corbin. All right.
Awesome.
Leave us a comment if that was completely ridiculous or if you liked it, because it's kind of fun making it, I got to be honest. So let's break down the different sports and see what went right and what went wrong. So August 28th through September 3rd, we were 25-15. Great record, plus 7.37 units. Perfect. We had a losing week last week. Come right back strong. That's what we love, not wanting to have losing losses in multiple weeks in a row. So really happy with that. MLB, we struggled this week, 2-6. minus 8.25 units. MMA went great, 3-0, plus 6 units. We got our 5% play up. The play that we have up in MMA, I've been waiting on for a couple weeks. So this streak is hitting at the perfect time. Tennis is great. Corbin smoked his tennis, the U.S. Open. He went 10-3 plus 11.7 units. And what's not shown here is how he was having a good week, was hitting at a great percentage, and laid off yesterday, and we would have put out a couple of losing plays.
It's
So
big.
it's huge. It's so big to lay off these plays when they end up losing. So that was really good. Soccer went 5-6. We lost minus 9.5 units. That number is completely flipped if we hit one play that we lost by half a corner kick, and then one of them we lost by a goal. So it was a tough week in soccer, but so close. That one corner killed us. That was a 3% play. So cross sport parlays, we hit our only one. That's plus 2 units. We do have a 5% cross sport parlay that we already hit the first leg in. So we're waiting to cash Djokovic to make it to the finals in the U.S. Open, and we'll hit that one. Formula One, big weekend for us, 3-0 plus 5 units. And Steve, we talked about college football. That is now 1-0. We only put it up for half a unit because we talked about it on the show, but the TCU team total, it gets there. Everyone was talking about Colorado. Meanwhile, we were just like, we get the TCU team total. So
that's about the only TCU ticket that cashed that day. Except unless you got any, unless you, it's really the only thing that cashed that over for the whole game. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a whole, really happy with all of our sports last week. So this is going to obviously look really different now that we're adding NFL plays to it. We have 2 lacrosse plays that are pending today, and we have the pending 5% play. And we also have the 5% play that is up in UFC right now. All plays are $9, guys, on Monday, including that 5% play. We got it up early. So go grab that 6-0 run. I would love to make this 7-0. I think I'm just going to give out my Dana White Contender Series play for free on the video, and I may just put it up as a free play because I really want 7-0 to be this Saturday in UFC. I'm really confident in this play. We're seeing the sport really well, so grab that one. MLB play of the day is up right now. Those are $9, so take advantage of that. If you're looking to try us out in NFL, we have a promo code. NFL 99, it gets 30 days of NFL plays. Guys, number 1 in 5% plays last year, number 1 in NFL totals. So that is where our focus is for this season. And if you want to try us out for the first month, go ahead and use that special. It's on the player profile page at WagerTalk.com. Again, it includes all of our 5% plays. So any NFL play for the first 30 days, that's going to be included. So it's a smoking deal. It's only $99 for the first. Actually, let me put the price there. 30 days of $4.99. That makes it a little bit more clear there. So 30 days of NFL for only $99. So outside of $9 Mondays, 5% plays are $35. So you're getting a smoking deal on this one. All right, let's do our fade of the day, Steve. And we're going back to MLB here. And we're looking at the Minnesota Twins as our fade of the day. Fading the Yankees didn't work out too well for us as they crammed it up our butts. And the Astros.
Brutal series, man.
Yeah, they crammed it up our Astros. But today is a new day, and there's actually quite a few teams to fade. We're focusing on the Minnesota Twins. What do we like about fading them and taking the Cleveland Guardians?
So for me, this is more about the Cleveland Guardians. We're going to be getting the Guardians here at plus 124 odds. They need this series, their last chance against Minnesota, who leads them in the AL Central by 5 games. So a sweep here, or 2 out of 3 only gains a game. They're 5 behind. This is their last crack to really gain some ground on Minnesota head to head. When it looked like the Guardians were waving the towel at the deadline, the white flag, I should say, at the deadline, they picked up pitching at the waiver deadline. They added Giolito, he'll be pitching today, Matt Moore, and Ronaldo Lopez. And this is a Terry Francona move to add some cheap pitching. Late in the season, he likes to stock up pitchers for starters and bullpen so that he can make a playoff push, or when he makes the postseason, he has these guys, he's able to utilize these players. The Guardians are hot. They've won 4 of their last 5. And more importantly, they've won their last 3 series, all against playoff teams or contending playoff teams. Tampa Bay, Minnesota, the same team they're playing tonight, and Toronto. So those are three pretty impressive series victories in their last three series. And the Guardians, if you watched their series against Tampa Bay and the highlights in that extra inning game that they won, they don't look like a team that's giving up here. They were excited about the victory, and I'm expecting them to keep pushing, and potentially they're plus 1,200 to win this division right now, and they have an outside shot. They're at catching Minnesota. It's the only way that either one of these teams is going to make the postseason. Like I said, Giolito making his first start, so I'm expecting him to be for the Guardians. I'm expecting him to be motivated here. He's dominated the current Twins lineup, 195 batting average, long-term to across 195 plate appearances. Lopez, on the other hand, he struggled against the Guardians this year. He's allowed 9 earned runs, 2 innings. One of those was a loss. The other one, the bullpen, the Twins picked up the win late in the game for him. He was set up to get the loss in that game. So there's a lot to like about the Guardians here, and you get him at plus money today on the money line.
Like it here, and also, when we do this, it's not just for today. We like the Guardians in the series, so you may take a look at can they win a couple of these games here. So even if they come up short today, we would come right back to them. So we're looking to fade Minnesota Twins. I saw your boy Justin Steele's down to 6-1. So
yeah,
you talked about him at 12-1, then 9-1, now 6-1, and we just keep seeing Blake Snell. The odds keep dropping on him.
He keeps putting up, he keeps putting up good performances. But like I said, long term, I wonder if so he has the most walks in all of baseball, not just of the contenders in all of baseball. That has to count for something as a negative. And just the biggest thing is that the Padres, they're not going to be making the postseason. They'd have to jump 6-7 teams to get into the postseason. And when it all shakes out at the end, and Strider and Steele are sitting there on playoff teams, and he's not. And if you see Gallen, he really dipped out of this now. He had a really poor outing yesterday, so he's dropped down to 4th place behind Steele. So Steele's moved up in the rankings.
Love it. And we're gonna add this. We're gonna add. Sorry guys, I'm freezing up there. We're gonna add a stat of the day here, and you can take what you want out of this stat, but I love these weird stats. It helps us out on props. This is interesting because recorded Prop It Up, and Andrew McGinnis and I are on different sides of this. So here is the stat. Jared Goff did not throw an interception in his last 312 attempts of the season. So I don't even remember this from last year. I didn't even remember this being a thing, but it was. So Andrew's take is he's due, which I can appreciate. But he's minus 110 to not throw an interception against the Chiefs, and I just wonder maybe he settled down and settled into the offense a little bit more. He's taking less chances. He's throwing the ball away instead of trying to fit it into some tight spots. But yeah, Jared Goff did not throw an interception in the last 312 attempts of the season. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it?
The stat blew my mind because when you think Jared Goff, usually interception is one of the things that he goes hand in hand with thinking about him. But you're right. Thinking about it, we just talked about Laporta, and then St. Brown. He's more of a possession. He's not like going out for like deep bombs necessarily. You know what I mean? So Goff has been very careful with it. Obviously, towards the end of the season last year, and I wouldn't expect it to continue at that. I would be surprised if he went the next 312 without throwing an interception. Let's just say that.
9 games. I'm looking at it now. This last 9 games of the season, he threw 312 times and no interception. So again, I do not know how I missed that one at the end of the season. But so with NFL starting up, we got baseball, and pretty soon we'll have NBA and NHL. There's going to be stats galore. So we want to do our favorite stat of the day. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Please go get that 5% UFC play. Do not miss out on $9 Monday. Don't miss out on $9 Monday on 5% play. 6-0 run, looking to make it 7-0 for the Saturday. Get it now, lock in the best price, and hopefully we'll bring in a bunch more MMA profits. So it is NFL season, and we're going to be here tomorrow. Normally we take Tuesdays off, but it is just too busy of a season to take Tuesdays off. So we will be back with Road to Millions tomorrow. If you have any questions on the bank builder, oh, you know what? I didn't even show the. I totally messed that up, didn't I? I didn't do the bank builder or the bankroll builder spreadsheet, did I?
No, sorry.
Silly me. Sorry, guys. Let's do this. Let's do this real quick here. All right. So if you have any questions on the bankroll builder spreadsheet, go ahead and just leave them in the comment section. And if you don't have the bankroll builder spreadsheet, there's going to be a link on the pinned comment here. So let's take a look at what we looked like last week. Our bankroll, when we started with $1,000, we now have 1,287. So one unit was $12.87. We added 7.37 units. So we multiply 7.37 times 12.87. And our new bankroll is 1,377. So from now on, for the rest of the week, one unit is going to equal 13.77. So what we're looking at is $13.77 per unit. So we're going to have pretty decent plays. I think we're going to be much lower volume this week than we were last week. We're not going to have nearly as many U.S. Open plays. That's going to be the big thing. I think we had 13 of those plays. So not going to have many of those. But low volume is kind of what we do best. So excited for a good week here. And Steve, we have to do our favorite chart here. Is how the Road to Millions is doing compared to the Dow Jones. The red looking good here. This top line is the 100 units. We're coming for you, 100 units. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So Dow Jones actually had a good week, and they're still 83 units, 83% behind us. So looking good there. Looking good. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Leave us a comment. Don't forget to hit the like button. Tomorrow, we're going to be breaking down our favorite sleepers in the quarterbacks and wide receiver category. So it's going to do it for us today. Good luck on all your bets. Have a great day, and we'll see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.